Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope today's been treating you well. In today's video I am going to be talking you through a load of my current favourite products. So this is going to be sort of two birds one stone sort of situation. This is a full face of a load of my favourite things at the minute. Basically what I've been doing very regularly at the minute, just on an everyday basis, but also it's almost like a soft glam if you're wanting more of a natural wedding guest sort of a look that's bronzy and glowy and very summer appropriate. We're going to be getting into that as well, and these are the products that I recommend for that sort of a look. Some of these are like newer products, like we've got some of the new Technic products here, we've got the new foundation, like we've got a few new products that I've been playing with for a little while and I can now heartily give it my stamp of approval. So we're going to be getting into all of that. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe down below if you want to see more from little old me. I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday, but it's always more often than that because I get overexcited about makeup. But let's just start. For the base, like I say, the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation I have been absolutely loving, but I also love mixing it in with this, which isn't a new product, but when I moved into my new room here, I refound it and realised that this is absolutely a summer staple product for me. This is the Glow Milk Primed Luminising Gel Primer, and this is in honey. Like, look at that colour, isn't that terrifying? But it really doesn't show up like that. So I'm going to take, I mean, I've not got a lot of this left. I'm going to take about a pump, but like more than that because I have so little product left. There we go. So I've got about 2 pumps there, and I'm going to mix it in with about equal amounts of the e.l.f. foundation, and I wear this in the shade 15 Fair Warm. That is like my perfect shade. So I'm just going to mix these together on the back of my hand to sort of dial down the coverage in the foundation. Not that I think it needs dialing down, it's a really beautiful finish, but for summer I like something really nice and lightweight, and this primer, glowy primer, really does just add a soft radiant glow to the skin. I actually mix this in with a lot of different foundations and it works fantastically well. So let's dot this all over, and then I'm going to blend it out with a sponge. So I have just layered that up a little bit sort of more down the centre of my face, and it layers really nicely to build up the coverage where you need it, but it just smooths everything out, leaves everything looking really nice and radiant and soft, but it's not too much coverage. That combo has been working fantastically well, as you can tell by the lack of product that I've got left. I need to get another one of these. I love it. So for concealer, I cannot stop using this concealer. It's the Technic Triple Wave Serum Concealer, the newest one that they brought out. It's absolutely beautiful. So, a lot of coverage though. It is quite high coverage, so I'm going to take less than a pump. A pump is too much unless you're doing your whole face with it, which I suppose you absolutely could. And I'm also going to blend this in just with the same sponge, just to really like sink it into the skin nicely. But you can see like the eye bags are gone. They are gone. It's such incredible coverage and the finish is beautiful as well. It feels really nice and lightweight, but looks like I've put a really high coverage concealer on. I am just going to take this a little bit down the centre, more to brighten, because it is a little bit lighter than that foundation that I used. The concealer I have in the shade Light. I think there is one shade lighter. I think there's a Fair. I can't remember. But I am the biggest fan of this concealer. And again, it's really nice and like soft, and it's not a matte finish, it's just beautiful. So I'm just adding a little bit down the centre, like I say, more to highlight than like add coverage, and there's still some product left there, which like I say is too much for me. Then onto bronzer, the MUA Bronzed Cream Bronzer in Butterscotch. Firstly, if you haven't tried this, you absolutely need to, it's incredible. Secondly, it smells like you could eat it, which I know a lot of people, I've picked up the wrong brush here, a lot of people won't like. I love the smell of it though. It's not an overpowering fragrance, and I'm just going to start warming up the face. Like I say, we're going bronzed today, so obviously we're using more than one bronzer. So that is the startings of the beautiful bronzy colour. I did also put that like a little bit down the sides of my nose, but nothing too precise. I do just use the same brush for that because I don't, I mean, I've never successfully contoured my nose. So using a big brush just like that and then blend it out, that is all I do for a contour. Then blush. I've been loving this one because it's bright and it's fruity on your cheeks. This is Can't Cope with Coral, and I just realised I did just dip that brush into my bronzer accidentally, the one that I use for blush, so I'm just gonna wipe it off on a bit of tissue. So I don't want to get those too muddled up on my face, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the cheeks and then blend out with a brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I love these brushes, for it's the same one that I used for the cream bronzer. Anything cream or liquid or balm or anything like that, I love these brushes. They just work fantastically well and they clean very, very well. I have had a number of these for a number of years and I will always repurchase them. I think I have about 4 of them for various different things. One for my bronzer, one for my blush, one for concealer. Like, you can just use them for everything. So I think I want a little bit more. Obviously I want a little bit more, but obviously I'm also using 2 blushes today. So this is blush number 1. So at this stage, everything on my skin is a cream or a liquid. I haven't powdered anything and I haven't used any powders yet. So I'm gonna go off and do my brows. I'm going to use the Revolution Brow Blade in medium brown and the e.l.f. Wow Brow that I know is out on my table somewhere in brunette. I'm gonna go off and do that before I powder, so all of this can really like warm up and melt into the skin, and then I will powder after I've done my brows. I hope that makes sense, but I'm gonna go off and do my brows because I can't do them and talk at the same time. I can't multitask. So I'll do that and then we will be back when I've got some brows on my head. Okay, so brows are done. I'm just tapping out any creases that I got in that concealer because I have a real face and it moves. So creasing concealer is absolutely nothing to worry about. For powder, I'm going to powder the whole face. If you've seen my channel before, you know the love that I have for the Revolution, what is it? IRL 2-in-1 Loose and Press powder. The IRL one. I absolutely love it. It's my absolute favourite. I have so little product left. Like, so little product left. I need to get another one. Taking a little puff, a little triangular puff, and I'm working that product into the puff and before I go on and set, just going to make sure again that there aren't any creases, that I'm happy with everything before I set it. And I'm going to set under the eyes with the puff. Now, just because I have dry skin, and if you didn't know, I've got dry skin, I really need to set my makeup because it is hotter than the Earth's core in the UK at the minute, and I want my makeup to last. I don't want to have to worry about it, honestly, that's what it comes down to. I just don't want to have to think that my makeup might be melting off my face. So I use quite a bit of powder, but I still like it to look quite radiant, and I feel like this powder just does that for me without me ever having to worry about it. There is so little product. I need to take the little doofer off the top because I'm really not getting any product out here, but this powder just does it for me. It sets, but like everything still looks really nice, like everything still looks as glowy as it did before. So if you're putting on a matte foundation, it's not going to illuminate your foundation. If you're putting on a glowy foundation, I feel like this still lets some of that glow come through, and I'm just a huge fan. And I find that my foundation and concealer and colour products, bronzer and everything just lasts incredibly well when I've set it, specifically with this one, but just when I've set it in general, everything just lasts so much better. So just tapping over the rest of the face with whatever's left on my little puff. Then for the rest of the colour products, I'm going in with a Real Techniques blush brush into my bronzer. This is the Technic Marbled Bronzer. In my review of all of these new Technic products, somebody commented and said that this looked like a petri dish, which I appreciate. It does a little bit. It definitely does look a little bit like that. I love it. This is in the shade Sunbaked. They had 3 different shades, and I have really been loving this one. It's more of a red undertone, like it is more of like a sunburn bronzer for my sort of skin tone, which I have just been loving. I genuinely think I've used this every day since I tested it, and I've definitely just gone overboard on my forehead there, but never mind. I'm just putting this basically on the high points where the sun would actually get me. I'm gonna have to sort that out on my forehead there. I've applied way too much. So I've just dusted over the forehead situation with a bit more of that powder just to dial it down and blend it in a little bit. Then I've got another one for bronzer and one for blush, and I lost my powder blush there for a minute. It's Milani Luminoso. Is anybody surprised? She is a classic, and I feel like this and this, like, you see where I'm going. They look beautiful together. And again, Luminoso has a really nice soft glow, adds that summery beautiful glowiness. Like, she's a classic and everybody loves her for a reason. And I feel like it blends in with that bronzer really nicely as well, because the bronzer is ever so slightly glowy and the blush is glowy, so it does just melt it all in beautifully. So I'm going to just grab a setting spray because I feel like I need, it's very hot in here and I just need to cool my face down. I'm going to use the classic, the e.l.f. Stay All Night Setting Mist. So just let me get my hair out of the way, make sure that everything is like blended how you want it before you spray this, because it does lock everything in. So just a few sprays, and then I do actually have a fan because I'm extra like that. and I feel like the spray and the fan firstly cools me down, which I need in this awful heat, but it also like mixes in with the powders, blends everything in really nicely, like brings back life to the skin, but also will absolutely just make it last all day long. So onto the eyes. I'm going very simple, very, very simple. I'm going to just use a little bit of that bronzer that I used on the face, and you could absolutely use some sort of an eye base. I love the P. Louise ones and I love the Beauty Bay ones. I don't need this to last incredibly long on me today. I am going out for tea tonight, but it's already like I'm going out fairly soon, so I don't need this to last incredibly long. So I'm just like tapping this bronzer on and blending it out. I will just take a slightly fluffier brush with no more product on just to blend over the edges, but I do feel like using the same bronzer on your face and on your eyes, sometimes I'll use my blush, but using the same bronzer, like everything just feels very tonal. Everything feels like it goes, obviously because it's the same product, but everything just goes and you don't have to even think about it. I am going to be going into an eyeshadow palette for a glitter, but I specifically wanted to just start with the bronzer because you can just do this with the bronzer if you wanted to. You don't have to go in with a shimmer as well. I feel like there is something so beautiful about an all matte eye look. It's not what I'm going to do today, but you absolutely can just leave this as your bronzer over your eyes, and because it's the same colour, the same product, it all just feels very easy breezy beautiful. So I'm going to go in with, I've got a lot of stuff on my table, I'm going to go in with the Cosmic Brushes Neutrals, and I'm just going to dip into a little bit of a Radiant up here on the top row, and if I swatch this a little bit, can you see it's like all different colours? It's just beautiful, and I'm going to tap this onto the lid. I don't want this to be too intense, too reflective, anything like that. Just want a little bit of something. I feel like the warmth in this colour is so beautiful. I would say out of all of the shades in this palette, Radiant has been the one that I have been reaching for the most. Honestly, I just absolutely love it. And again, I feel like the sort of peachy, orangey reflect in the eyeshadow, yes, it shifts a little bit green, but it also shifts this like peachy, orangey colour that I feel like matches the blush beautifully. Do you see where I'm going? It's absolutely beautiful and so easy. Like, I basically just did that in real time with you. It's so easy. So yes, you could use one of the mattes out of the palette. Obviously you could, like there's so many options, but I feel like having that bronzer that's the same just works. So I'm gonna do a wing. Where have I put it? Honestly, my table. I promised myself when I moved into this room that I would keep this table tidy, and I absolutely have not done that. If we're talking bronze makeup look, can you get me away from the 17 Ink Legend tattoo eyeliner in bronze? No sir, you cannot. Look at that colour. It's incredible. So I'm going to do a wing and some sort of mascara. Which mascara, I do not know. I will find one. And then I'm very excited also about the lip combo, so we'll do that together. But again, same as the brows, I can't talk whilst I do liquid liner. or mascara. So I'll be right back once I've done that step too. Okay, so the mascara that I used was just the e.l.f. Lash and Roll because it was out on my table. And then for the lip, I've got it here somewhere. My table is a mess. The e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner in Truth or Bare. This desperately needs sharpening, but when I moved, I don't know where I have put my sharpener, so we're just going to do our best. And I am just tapping in ever so slightly just to like blend it in, and then the classique, the MUA Satin Sheen Lip Stylo in Super Nude. I love her. Just beautiful. Like that combo. I mean, if you haven't seen my channel before, hi, I'm Millie. I do videos every single September on my wedding anniversary of what makeup I would wear if I was getting married this year, if that makes sense. I do like a little series every single year. I think that that lip combo is what I would do because it just feels like a lip balm, but it has the colour of a lipstick. It feels like nothing, but you get the most incredible, like glossy, beautiful colour. I highly recommend these. So that is the finished look. We've gone bronze, we've gone warm, and all of these are like my favourite products that I can't stop raving about at the minute. I'm just obsessed with all of these products. Every single one gets my stamp of approval. I would love it to hear down below if any of these are your favourites as well, or if you have some other favourites that you don't think I've tried. I would love to know because I'm always on the hunt for more makeup. I've got a whole new room to fill, so leave it down below if you have any other recommendations, if you want to see any other looks, anything like that. I will say tomorrow I am starting filming with the Neutrals palette, the 3 Looks With series, so that will be coming very, very soon. And then I will be doing like a ranking video where I talk about all of the Cosmic Brushes palettes and which one out of all of the ones I've tried, which one is my favourite. So again, if you want to see those, let me know down below and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those. If you've made it to the very, very end of this video, please give this one a really big thumbs up. That does help me out ever so much. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.